It's not right. You're trading numbers with some dude who's at my party. Oh, I hate this feeling, 'cause I won't be breathing you in my lungs anymore. It's not right. I'm waking up to feelings thinking that I've got you. Oh, I hate this feeling, 'cause I won't be breathing you in my lungs anymore.
So the first thing I did was to take this guitar and to create the bass from the guitar. So the MIDI looks like this, and I created that using a bass guitar from Ample Bass Pro Lite, and together they sound like this. I then took that bass guitar and I created some chords using them, so that sounds like this. And I made that using Silent 1, so it's just a triangle wave and a saw wave, and I used the cutoff filter at the bottom with the modulator to create the effect, and then I use an automation. You can see here the filter just comes up and opens up and then it closes, and that helps to move the track along. So with that automation it sounds like this. I then added a piano, and that has a high cut filter that opens up, and that piano there is from True Pianos. It's just the Atlantis standard, and I've added some compression, some saturation and some reverb, so altogether it sounds like this. Then at the very top I've just added a violin that helps to keep the track moving as well. And that's from the BBC Symphony Orchestra from Spitfire, which is free. And then I decided to add some vocals on top of that, so I found these on Splice, and together they sound like this.
It's not right. You're trading numbers with some dude who's at my party. Oh.
Then I decided to add some effects underneath that, so if I just unsolo these, I have this like atmosphere in the background that sounds like this. And also just a very simple clap loop. The second part of the intro is pretty much the same. So you've got the chord progression, you now have this plucked piano. And on top of that you have the True Pianos. And you also have these plucked chords from Silent as well, which I created using saw waves. Then have the same bass guitar as the beginning, and I have a couple of ones that I've created using Silent 1, including a top bass and a sub bass, and you also have that violin back as well, so altogether it sounds like this with the kick drum. loop from Kashmir, another clap loop, and then a snare as well. So all together with the vocal, sounds like this.
It's not right. I'm waking up to feelings thinking that I've got you. Oh, I hate this feeling, 'cause I won't be breathing you in my lungs anymore.
So this build up here is very basic, it's not complete at all. You just have some snares that I've pushed together. Then you have 3 of the leads from the drop, and they go through this mix bus here, and they have Endless Smile to help raise it and lower the lows, and also add some reverb. You've got a high cut filter and a low cut filter. So the leads in the build up sound like this. And then you have the chords as well. So they're 2 of the chords from the drop, and they sound like this. And then for the drop, we have basically loads of leads stacked on top of each other. They're the same leads I used in my track Emotional. So the first one sounds like, let me just answer that. First one's from Silent, it sounds like this. Second one is also from Silent. So it's the third. And then the fourth lead is from Silent. This one has a lot of white noise, so it really helps with the attack of the lead. And you also have this one. This one's got a lot of reverb, so it helps to tie it all together. And then you also have this one here. This has a lot of mid frequencies, so it helps fill up the spectrum. And then you just got this white noise from ES2. And then they're in this lead mix bus here, and they have been compressed, OTT, some reverb, and they've got the wider from Infected Mushroom that just helps to widen it out, and also kickstart at 80%, so it sounds more natural. So altogether, the leads sound like this. You'll also see in the lead that I have some notes that glide between the other notes. That just helps to add sort of uniqueness to the lead. And you want to have the portamento switched on at about 100 milliseconds for it to sound good. Now for the chords, I have another mix bus here. These are made up of pianos and synths that fit well together. So the first one is going to be the same as we had in the intro to the song, this classic chord one, and it sounds like this. Now the cutoff has obviously been moved upwards. Second one is from Silent as well. I called this a Chainsmokers chord. Basically just has that same vibe. Third one's from Silent as well. This one's from Nicky Romero's Splice sample pack. Fourth one's also from Silent. Again from Nicky Romero's sample pack on Splice. And the last one is True Pianos. So altogether, with the compression and the OTT, it sounds like this. And finally we have the bass mix bus here. And that uses some basses from my song Emotional as well. First one's from Silent, it sounds like this. Second one. The third one. This is one of my favourite bass leads. It has a lot of attack and punch in there. Next one. And finally just a sub bass. And they have been compressed as well, OTT, some saturation on there, and also some direction mixer to help put the real lows into mono to help with the mix, and then kickstart as well. And altogether it sounds like this. So lastly underneath I just have a very simple drum pattern, just made up of a kick, a snare, and some hi-hats, and a few effects, and together it sounds like this. So in the second part of the drop I kept the same chords and bass line, and I just added this vocal chop lead that sounds like this. And to create that effect I just took two of them, and on one of them I used a manipulator and just put the pitch up 12 and the format up 12 and turned down the volume. So that's how I took the inspiration from a Splice sample and turned it into a track. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys next time.